The Mall of Shadows by Erwin Montrose. Prologue. The Vanishing. The QR code is tucked into the crease of a matte black shopping bag, small enough to look accidental, deliberate enough to feel like a dare. Noon light pours through the atrium's glass ribs and fractures into glitter on the polished floor. Tourists drift like schools of fish. Somewhere, a violin loop leaks from a luxury store, bright and smug. "Hey, you forgot your..." The young stock runner calls after a customer who's already dissolved into the crowd. He shrugs, glances at the bag's logo, some brand that manufactures desire more than clothes, and thumbs the QR code, because that's what you do when you're bored and 20. Probably a promo. 10% off if you surrender your soul in email. The phone screen blinks, goes white, then spools a black command prompt, like a relic from a time when computers hissed. A line types itself. The strike begins. The stock runner badge says Samir, tilts the phone, squints. The mall's light ripples. One bank of LED panels over the atrium hiccups, just a single stutter, like a skipped heartbeat, and resumes selling diamond-edged perfumes to people who collect identities the way others collect stamps. A prank, a weird one, maybe a viral campaign for some grimdark streaming show. He tries to scroll. The page won't budge. He backs out. The phone refuses. Another line appears, decisive. Checkpoint Alpha, Washroom C, Level 1. He glances toward the washroom corridor, a vein of white tile and motion sensor sinks. A pair of security officers trudge past with coffees. Their epaulets catch the light like small shields. Okay, someone's messing around. Do your loop, Samir. Clock the hours. Don't chase the rabbit. Not your show. But the word strike sticks to him like static. He imagines the timestamp glowing on his eyelids. 20 HUD. He imagines being the guy who noticed something and told no one, and then watched the evening news at home with his mother picking rice from a steaming pot, both of them shrinking as the crawl says breaking and tragedy. And how did no one see this coming? 5 minutes, he tells himself. Look, laugh, delete. Washroom C is aggressively clean, mirror like a lake, citrus antiseptic that makes the nose twitch. In the last stall, under the hinge, someone has inked neat black letters, Alpha. Below it, a QR sticker half the size of a coin. The second code auto-loads into a minimalist page, a small clock icon, ticking toward 20, a map of the mall with a pulsing dot, a single word at the bottom, run. This is not a promo. This is not cute. The pulsing dot marks a spot 2 floors up, near a glass footbridge that arcs across a canyon of luxury, mirrored storefronts, air cool as a theater. Okay. He pockets the phone, palms damp. When he steps back into the corridor, the world feels too bright. The clock in his hand ticks toward an evening that hasn't happened yet, and he is suddenly aware of exits, of fire extinguishers, of the way security cameras blink without blinking. The pulsing dot leads him to the footbridge. A river of shoppers crosses in both directions. He pauses at the midpoint, where the glass balustrade gives a vertigo-clean view of Level 1. A child presses both palms to the glass and squeals at a balloon in the shape of a cartoon tiger. Where? Samir breathes. New message. No sender. Checkpoint Bravo. Aquarium tunnel. Look up. He follows the current. Down a wide stair, past an armada of prams, along the corridor where the light turns blue and water writes ripples across faces. The aquarium tunnel swallows him whole, the glass overhead thick as fate, the fish massive, prehistoric, their casual mouths like moving parentheses. It's like walking inside a throat. On the apex of the tunnel ceiling, a discreet maintenance plate catches his eye. Something is tucked behind its lip, a black rectangle, taped, waterproofed. No way. He waits for the knot of tourists to pass, reaches up, fingers trembling, and peels the packet loose. Inside, a slim USB drive sealed in plastic and a sticker with another code. The sticker shows a schematic, a billboard frame, a maintenance ladder, a tiny X where a panel should be. What is this? A treasure hunt crossed with a bomb threat? Who set this? Why me? He scans the sticker code. The phone's screen resolves into a clean monochrome page. A clock again. A list. Stage, light, angle. You are not the audience. You are the proof. Fuck. He pockets the drive, eyes the exit, and notices, for the first time, that a man in a lemon polo shirt is photographing him. The man's camera doesn't make a sound. He lowers it with the indifference of a commuter checking the time. Security? Blogger? Or worse, someone who needs me to keep going. Samir moves, back to daylight. The mall's atrium blooms around him, a basilica of retail faith. Overhead, the LED screens are vast as night skies. For a heartbeat, static washes through one, a gray snow that doesn't belong to this century. Most people don't look up. Digital distortion. A black banner flashes. The martyrs rise at 20. Then perfume again. Lips, watches, a yacht that may as well be a spaceship. Hey, Samir says to the nearest guard, a woman with a braided bun and a patience like granite. Ma'am, there was a message on the screen, and I found, look. He fishes the USB from his pocket, the plastic sleeve glinting like contraband. Sir, if you found a suspicious item, please step with me. We'll take your statement. Her colleague materializes, smiling like a lid. They guide him toward a door marked staff only. Air pressure changes. The music dies, replaced by industrial quiet. A small office. Table, 2 chairs, a wall monitor displaying a checkerboard of camera feeds. The guards, Officer F. Ali and Officer S. Qasim, log his details, scan the USB for tampering, bag it. Thank you, Officer Ali says. We'll handle it from here. No, you don't understand. It's a clock. It's a route. I'm inside somebody's game. There was also a code and a washroom mark Alpha and the aquarium packet. Sir, please remain available. We may call you if we need a follow-up. They're not dismissive. They're careful. Bureaucracy is a way to keep your pulse down. They escort him back to the door. The atrium's sound returns like surf. Go back to folding shirts, count belts, pretend this isn't happening. Another message, same void sender. Checkpoint Charlie, Service Corridor 12. Bring the bag. What bag? The matte black shopping bag, the one with the first code, is gone from the office table where he set it. Not bagged, not logged. Gone. They took it, or someone lifted it while I blinked. He swivels, scans faces. A man rearranging the stack of lookbooks in a window. A woman staring with remarkable focus at a display of sunglasses. Lemon polo, again, in the reflection of a mirrored pillar, angling himself like a sundial. Nope, I'm out. He isn't out. He heads for Service Corridor 12 because he's 20 and human, and a sentence like "you are the proof" is a hook with a barb. The corridor breathes cool and smells faintly of cardboard and citrus cleaner. Fluorescent light hums. A camera dome blinks red. Halfway down, a maintenance panel stands ajar. A strip of matte tape holds a folded card to the inside. He peels it free. Charlie, it says in clean block letters. Below, do not call the police. They are part of the show. Who writes that? Who assumes he hasn't already? Who knows so intimately how this place breathes? He turns. No one. The corridor bends and swallows its own sound. When he faces the panel again, the folded card's reverse is visible, the ink smudged as if licked by a careless thumb. 3 words, not block printed, but handwritten, sure and fast. Run at 1959. Digital distortion, faint heartbeat glitch. The math is simple. The stage is set for 20. The instruction is to move 1 minute before a violent idea becomes blood. Invitation or warning? He looks at the camera dome. He imagines someone behind it, measuring him. Who are you? It is not a question for an answer. It's a way to make his mouth feel real. Another message. No number, no name. You are seen. Keep going. There are people in the mall with entire futures that smell like cinnamon buns and aftershave. He pictures his mother adjusting a headscarf in the mirror. He pictures the evening news howl. Okay. He slides the card into his pocket, steps back into the artery of commerce. The brightness stings after the fluorescent corridor's anesthesia. Every sound is too crisp. Even the coffee grinders sound like gears. Overhead, in the upper mezzanine, Lemon Polo leans on a rail like a man watching a busker. In a reflection 3 panes over, a different man, gray suit, no tie, speaks into his sleeve. A woman passes Samir and mutters without moving her lips, her voice barely a breath. Alpha, Charlie is on schedule. He could scream. He could bolt. He could do none of those things because the human brain, when placed inside a story, will crawl to the next page, even if the next page is a cliff. At 12:38 p.m., Samir becomes part of a machine he cannot name. At 13:02, the LED over the atrium will shiver again. At 14:15, a woman in a white dress will leave a bag under a bench by the ice rink and forget it. At 16:47, a billboard will blink and whisper in a language most people here do not read. At 19:59, vow. I'll run. By the time anyone notices he is gone, the countdown will have already hollowed an hourglass into the day. The mall will hum like a god, and somewhere behind glass, a camera will frame him with the tenderness of a hunter sighting a deer. You are not the audience. You are the proof. Chapter 1. The First Breadcrumb. Dubai does not do half measures. It does chandelier moons and indoor storms, 1,000 perfumes at war with each other, and coffee that tastes like a small, polite crime. I'm supposed to be on holiday, 2 weeks to remind myself what people do when they're not trying to stop the world bleeding out in slow motion. I was good at leaving things behind. Resignations, allegiances, names. I was less good at leaving the habit of looking. From my table I can see a section of the atrium like a cross-section of an anthill. Tiers of movement, each stream with its own weather. A boy begs for a macaron in Japanese and gets 2. A couple poses with the kind of watch you buy to feel inevitable. The phone I shouldn't have with me, my old number routed through too many relays to be anything but paranoia, vibrates against the saucer. No caller ID, no country code, just a message pulverized to essentials. If you value a life, go to washroom C, level 1. Ask for Alpha. Come now. This city is 12,000 kilometers from the last time I ignored a message like that, and someone died in a car that burned too clean. Can I get that to go? I let the coffee burn a line down my throat and follow the sign to the washrooms. A minimalist icon of a human sketched by a designer who's never sweated. The corridor cools by 2 degrees. Light goes white and clinical as an operating theater. Washroom C is immaculate. The sinks are chrome wings, the mirrors faultless lies. 2 men soap their hands as if auditioning for a hygiene video. No one looks at anyone. That's one of the gifts of wealth. You inherit a talent for not seeing. Ask for Alpha. Of course. Excuse me, I say to a cleaner in a blue tabard who's making the paper towel dispenser presentable enough to crown. Do you know where Alpha is? Sir? Her smile is service perfect, but her eyes are good, the kind that catalog exits. She doesn't know, or she knows not to know. I check each cubicle quickly, a dance of doors and locks until the last stall answers. Under the hinge, neat black letters stenciled with a technician's hand, Alpha. Hello then? Half an inch beneath the word, the tiniest sticker, matte, coin-sized, the kind you print in a hurry if your printer is very good. I hold my phone to it. A plain monochrome page loads without the courtesy of a URL. A clock icon ticks toward 20 Hil. A mall map shrinks to my screen. A dot throbs at the midpoint of a glass footbridge. At the bottom, 3 words, "You are late." Fuck off. I leave the stall, bin the paper cup untouched, and catch my reflection in the mirror. The man who looks back is the kind of man hotels never remember. Mid-40s, haircut to avoid conversation, a face that could be polite until it wasn't. No tail, not yet. Security camera over Bay 3, angled fractionally low, Blind in the back corner. Useful. Useless. Move. The mall opens in front of me like a lung inflated on a surgeon's queue. The glass footbridge arcs between two gorges of retail. Mirrors, marble, the endless theater of desire. Its balustrade so clear it makes you cautious about leaning. Halfway across the bridge, the phone vibrates again. No sender. New directive. Bravo, aquarium tunnel. Look up. And here we go. The aquarium corridor changes the physics of everything. Light goes blue, time goes slow. Fins write cursive above tourists who crane with open mouths and lift their phones like offerings. Maintenance plate at the apex. Flush screws, a discreet edge. Something's been set behind the lip. A black wafer taped and taped again. The tape job's neat. Not military neat. Theater nice. Not today, I say to no one. I don't reach for it. I take a photo with my eyes. The exact smudge on the left screw. The scuff line like a comma. I step into the flow and let it carry me out of the tunnel, then swing left into an unmarked door a staffer forgets to close. Back-of-house corridors are the same on every continent. Concrete honesty, unperfumed air, the starchy quiet of places where things are made to work. I stop under a camera dome and angle myself so the glare hits it. If you're going to talk to me, talk. Digital distortion. The message appears as if my voice clawed it out of the dark. Stay on path. 20. The martyrs rise. Sloppy choice of words. In this city, that phrase burns hotter than most. Either the author is a fool, or he wants the fire to look a certain color. You're dressing a set, I say. You want me to see the paint. I step back into the public face of the mall, pull a route that takes me past 3 mirrored pillars, 2 jewelry stores, and a kiosk selling phone cases the color of rich people's dogs. On reflection 3, a man in a lemon polo tries so hard to look bored, he becomes interesting. Hello, Lemon. We'll pretend we don't know each other until we do. Over the atrium, a billboard hiccups. 3 seconds of static, then a black banner like a theater curtain. The martyrs rise at 20. Too perfect. The thing about real conspiracies, they bleed at the seams. This one gleams. 2 uniformed mall officers are already craning up at the panel, caught between protocol and the fear of making a thing into a thing. The female officer's braid is regulation tidy. Her eyes are hunting. Excuse me, Officer Ali? Yes? Her name badge confirms it. Either I have very good instincts, or the designers of this place believe in twins. You've just had an unauthorized broadcast on panel Atrium 7. I also observed a tampered maintenance plate at the aquarium tunnel apex. There'll be a black wafer taped behind it, likely a USB sealed in plastic. If your protocols allow, remove it wearing nitrile and bag it. And, I point up, lock the panel with a manual override. Don't trust the network. Sir, and you are. The smile I keep for this. On holiday. She doesn't laugh. Good. Sir, if you have specific information, we can take your statement in our office. Of course, after you send someone to the tunnel. I let them shepherd me 10 paces toward a staff-only door so the cameras can file the picture under due diligence, then peel off with an apology about a call from my wife. I don't have a wife. I do have a talent for exiting rooms. People haven't fully decided to keep me in. The phone pings. Service Corridor 12. Bring the bag. What bag? In the reflection of a watch boutique, Lemon Polo stands where my line of sight will find him and rotates his wrist like he's checking the time. It's a signal so old-fashioned it's nearly sweet. I ignore him out of basic respect. Corridor 12 is an artery buried under the makeup. Cardboard smell, floor wax, the gentle predator's purr of refrigeration units behind walls, food courts pretending not to be factories. Half-open panel, strip of matte tape holding a folded card inside. I angle it with a knuckle. Charlie, block letters. Reverse side, wet ink smudge and 3 words in a hand too practiced for pranksters. Run at 19:59. A minute early. That's not drama, that's tradecraft. You leave the room before the blast wave knows it owns you. You're not trying to stop an event. You're trying to make sure I witness it. You are the proof. Of course I am. Think on it. I pocket the card and re-enter the mall proper. The light hits different after fluorescent, like surfacing too fast and refusing to get the bends. On the mezzanine rail 2 stories up, lemon polo becomes more interesting by trying to be less so. 20 meters to my right, a woman in a white dress studies sunglasses as if she's hypnotizing herself. Both of them are part of someone's math. I ride the escalator, step off, and without looking like a man who follows anyone, I follow lemon polo by not following him at all. I choose trajectories that force him to choose me. He obliges. He lingers at a window where a mannequin wears a suit so sharply cut it might nick the air. Lovely watch, I say, still looking at the glass. Gift, he replies in English with no country attached to it. Internal, clock, thumb callus on the side from shooting or gaming, hairline fade done with discipline. Shoes you can run in, disguised as something you'd never sweat in. Tell whoever's writing these cards to hire a dialect coach, I say, continuing to watch the mannequin. Real militants don't use martyrs like that. Not here. Not in that context. It screams theater. I'm just a man admiring a suit. And I'm Santa. I walk away first. He doesn't follow. That tells me more than if he had. Delta, Fashion Avenue Billboard Maintenance Hatch, Panel 7B. Bring what you found. I haven't touched the aquarium packet. The maintenance team will. But whoever's choreographing this believes I did. Good. Let them plan around a ghost drive. It gives me room. 2000. Theatrical language. Too perfect glitch. A live audience. We're building toward a public act. One clean enough to sell to headlines. The only question is whose headlines. Fashion Avenue is a temple polished until it forgets its origins. The air tastes like ice and money. Panel 7B hangs above a mirrored column. Ladder access, staff-only hatch disguised as part of a wall relief that whispers taste. Excuse me, restrooms. Straight ahead, left of the fountain. I don't go to the fountain. I ghost the hatch when the attendant's gaze moves, pry at a fraction with a fingernail, and glance at the back of the panel, just long enough to see a matte rectangle taped there, twin to the aquariums. In the corner, 3 characters in a script the average shopper wouldn't notice if it danced naked. Small, tucked, perfect. Not Arabic, not English, not numbers, Hebrew. There you are. I let the hatch settle. Why bury Hebrew in the panel code? Because you want the right people to see and the wrong people to misread. Because you're planting evidence with the care of a florist. Digital distortion. Ice rink benches, seat 14C. Take the bag. Back to the bag. I didn't pick one up, someone else did. And now they want me to take possession on camera. Classic. Print my fingerprints on the narrative. I go anyway, because sometimes you walk into the trap so you can inventory the teeth. The ice rink breathes winter into the mall's lungs. Families orbit the boards. A teenage boy with hair engineered by YouTube spins once, twice, fails the third, laughs like he needed the fall. Bench 14C is a rectangle of varnished wood with a story it's too humble to tell. Under it, pushed back just far enough to require a choice, sits a matte black shopping bag identical to the one in the prologue of my afternoon. Hello, MacGuffin. Is this anyone's? Gloves from my pocket, thin nitrile, travel kit. I slide them on like a man too precious for public furniture and lift the bag. It has the weight of a mid-price bottle of whiskey. Inside, a folded hoodie branded with a luxury logo, tissue paper, and a smaller box the size of a book. The box hums with the silence of something that wants to be opened. A bomb here would be a child's suicide note. This isn't that. This is bait. Foxtrot. Staff office, atrium level. Ask for Officer F. ally, return the bag. Of course. I walk the bag to the staff office because that's where a good citizen would take it, and because I want to meet the woman whose eyes hunted the panel. The door seals behind me with a soft aircraft sound. "Sir," Officer Ali says. "We spoke before. Briefly." Her colleague Kasim is present again, the smile he wears like a lid. On the table, evidence bags, a laptop, a printout of Panel Atrium 7's maintenance schedule. The USB drive I didn't touch sits bagged and barcoded, which is a nice trick considering. Either they pulled it fast or someone fed them a copy for show. This was left under a rink bench. If it's part of the same event, you'll want it cataloged. Thank you. We'll take your statement now. My phone buzzes in my pocket, urgent as a pulse. Do not let them open it. 20 is the stage. The bag is the proof. Leave now. Internal, 2 theaters, one with rules, one with knives. Choose. Happy to, officer. May I use the restroom first? Down the hall, left. I leave the bag on the table where every camera can see it and walk out with the calm of a man who plans to return. I don't. I turn right. Door, stair, service hatch, air that smells like dust and institutional soap. You want me on a leash, I'll use your leash to measure the room. I reach the corridor's elbow and stop, listening. Someone follows 2 floors above, their footfalls masked by the building's heartbeat. I wait until the rhythm tells me they've committed to down, then step back through a different door that deposits me into a fragrance hall where the air is a crime scene of florals.
Lemon polo is gone, replaced by gray suit, tieless, expensive shoes. He's speaking without moving his lips, the sound a microgust against his sleeve. I watch his reflection instead of his face. His eyes are on panel 7B's reflection in a column. He's counting. So at least 2 watchers, at least 1 coder, a bag as prop, a clock for theater, and a message written in the wrong Arabic to frame the right enemy. Dinner. Sunset. Shunti. Atrium. Be early. I'm already here. I let the words be what they are, and the hour be what it will be. There's a kind of freedom that comes with a clock. It promises that indecision has an end. You're on holiday, Daniel. You promised. Yes, I promised to stop bleeding. I didn't promise to watch someone else do it. I pass a mirror and see the man I've been pretending not to be. A watcher. A solver. A mouth that says fine to storms. Whisper to the story itself. Okay, you want an audience. You picked the wrong seat. The paint on the word alpha was still wet, and the message I'd just read promised blood before sunset. Chapter 2, Graffiti Lies. The washroom corridor still stinks of antiseptic, but now the letters scream back at me in black. The martyrs rise at 20 Huad. They're sprayed across white tile in a hand too clean, too deliberate. No run marks, no lazy overspray. Whoever did this had time and protection. Militant graffiti in Dubai Mall? That's suicide. Cameras watch every piss break. Security crawls over this place like ants on honey, which means this was staged. The Arabic is wrong. The phrase would pass for authentic if you didn't care about nuance, but I do. The dialect is off, the word order clunky, like it was cribbed from a machine translation and slapped on a wall by someone who's never prayed in Arabic in his life. Sloppy fucking job. Sir, please don't touch that. Security has been called. She backs away, clutching her mop handle like it's a weapon. I can't blame her. This message isn't for her. It's for me, or for the cameras. 2 mall officers barrel in, radios clipped to their shoulders. Officer Kasim leads with bravado. Officer Ali follows with sharper eyes. They glance at me, then at the graffiti, then back at me like I'm part of the fucking paint. Sir, step away now. I didn't write it. But you'll want to know this isn't what it looks like. Here it comes. I explain the linguistic flaws, the dialect mismatch, the phrase militants here wouldn't use. I lay it out like an autopsy. You expect us to believe this is staged? I don't expect you to believe anything. I expect you to bag that wall before the press gets hold of it. Too late. A teenager's already filmed it. By tonight, it'll be on Telegram channels. By morning, news feeds. Dubai Mall extremists countdown. Panic sells itself. This is the first domino. Someone wants a spectacle. Ali radios for a forensics team. Kasim hovers, his suspicion as loud as his cologne. They don't cuff me, but they don't exactly let me walk either. Sir, stay here until we clear this section. No, if you hold me, you'll lose your best lead. I shoulder past, ignoring Kasim's barked protest. The corridor spits me into the main mall artery where crowds are starting to ripple. Confusion feeding fear. A woman whispers, "Terrorists," too loud. A man drags his family toward the exit. The phone buzzes again. Another message, cold and clinical. Checkpoint Bravo, Aquarium Tunnel, look up. Of course, they're keeping me moving. Breadcrumbs for the obedient dog. Fuck you, I'll follow, but on my terms. Blue light swallows me. The tunnel is a cathedral of glass and water. Fish the size of small cars drift above. Indifferent gods in slow motion. Tourists ooh and ah like they're in a church of consumer wonder. Where's the next lie? And then I see it. Tucked high above, behind the maintenance plate. Another wafer, another gift-wrapped piece of theater waiting for me to touch it. They're not hiding evidence. They're planting it, right in front of thousands of witnesses. Chapter 3, Digital Ghosts. The first billboard flicker hits like a migraine. A perfume ad woman in diamonds, yacht slicing through impossible blue, stutters. For 3 seconds the yacht sinks into static, then black letters bloom across the canvas of light. The martyrs rise at 20 Hud. 3 seconds, just enough for eyes trained to see. Too short for the average shopper hunting discounts. When the diamonds reappear, no one screams, no one runs. The mall breathes on, unaware its skin just cracked. That's the point. A warning only for the watchers, a stage direction. Another message crawls across my screen, digital distortion. Panel test successful. Next, foyer ad stream. Remember the audience. Yeah, I get it. You're not trying to kill quietly, you're building anticipation. A fucking trailer for murder. Security reacts now, belated. Ali and Qasim herd gawkers back, their radios spitting codes I half recognize. They'll write it up as a glitch, maybe a hack. They won't see the choreography yet. You'll call it vandalism, until the body drops. Sir, enough. He looks at me like I'm part of the virus. Maybe I am. I've let myself get dragged into this performance, step by step. No, I'm not the audience. I'm the fucking proof, remember? Across the atrium, Lemon Polo leans on the rail again. His camera clicks once, just once. He's not documenting, he's signaling. The billboard glitches again. This time the text is in Arabic, clumsier than the washroom graffiti, like it was translated by an intern with Google. A child points, laughs, pulls his mother's sleeve. She doesn't even look. الشاهدون يقومون الساعة 20. No one who lives here talks like that. This is theater dressed in costume. A masquerade. I close my eyes, map the clues. Washroom graffiti, aquarium wafer, now billboard hacks, a chain, each link designed to look militant but wrong in ways only an analyst would notice. Too neat, too tidy. A story ready to be sold. This isn't a plot. It's a frame. The crowd thins as rumors ripple. Someone mutters terrorists in French. A woman clutches her kid tighter. Security tries to smother panic with rehearsed smiles, but fear moves faster than protocol. They want a spectacle. At 20 Hadid, this place won't just bleed. It'll broadcast. And if I don't untangle this performance in time, Dubai Mall will be remembered not for its glittering glass, but for the blood spilled on its marble floor. Chapter 4, Secrets in the Aquarium. Dubai Mall's aquarium is a leviathan of glass and water, one of the few places in the city that makes even billionaires feel small. A wall of ocean tilts inward, holding back creatures that would make medieval sailors piss themselves. Rays gliding like ghosts, sharks that pace like prisoners, and fish so bright they could be inventions. It is an empire of distraction. I step into the tunnel that runs under the tank. The world turns blue, lit by ripples that paint strangers' faces in strokes of liquid light. Kids press their palms to the glass. Lovers tilt phones skyward for selfies with teeth swimming above their heads. The air smells faintly of chlorine and popcorn. If you wanted to hide a clue in this place, you'd never need subtlety. The fish are the camouflage. No one sees anything except the moving ocean. I scan. Maintenance plates every 20 feet. Dome cameras blinking red in fake surveillance comm. Tourists stumbling in flip-flops. Nothing screams urgent until I notice it. Top dead center, where the curve of the tunnel arches like the inside of a rib cage. A small rectangle taped to the lip of a panel. Matte. Waterproofed. Barely noticeable unless you were hunting. Hello again? Another wafer. Another breadcrumb. I wait. Timing is everything. Tourists shuffle past, jaws open, too busy narrating their own wonder to notice me scanning ceilings. When the crowd thins, I slip into the gap, phone already in hand. The sticker on the wafer loads a page instantly. No browser, no trace. Just a clock ticking toward 20 hod and 3 words in stark black. Stage, light angle. Below that, a schematic of the atrium. Highlighted in red, the position of one billboard, its angle of view, its sightline. It is a sniper's diagram masquerading as an advert layout. Jesus Christ. It's not about a bomb. It's not even about chaos. They're planning a show, a staged assassination under perfect lights. Every clue's a rehearsal note. A backpack brushes the glass near me. I jerk, palm hovering toward my coat. A kid no older than 12 chewing gum, looking at a manta ray with religious awe. His parents lag a few paces behind. I breathe, slow. Not everything is a threat. Not yet. But everything could be. I pocket the wafer, careful not to smudge it. Gloved fingers trace the panel again. Behind the lip, taped in double-layer plastic, a slim USB drive. I unhook it. It's heavier than it should be. A drive packed with instructions, a virus, a decoy. Whatever it is, it belongs to someone who thinks they own the script. And now it belongs to me. Tourists surge back into the tunnel, a wall of noise. I push through, shoulders tight, senses screaming. Lemon Polo appears in the reflection of the glass curve. He isn't holding a camera this time. He's holding a phone, angled low, probably filming me pocketing the drive. They want me on tape. They want me painted into this story as the courier. Fuck you, not today. I slide into the flow of bodies, cut across a family taking selfies, and slip out the far exit of the tunnel. Behind me, the glass glows blue, as if the sea itself is watching me run. Section 2, back of house. The service door beside the aquarium is marked staff only. No one looks when I push through. It's amazing what you can get away with if you walk like you belong. Inside, the mall's veins are stripped bare. Concrete, fluorescent hum, pipes sweating condensation. I need a quiet spot. I need to know what's on this drive. A cleaning alcove, unlit, suffices. I pull a pocket laptop from my bag. Old, dented, anonymous. Plug the drive in. Distortion. The screen spits out a single file, a video. Resolution low, timestamp this morning. I play it. The footage shows the atrium. Same billboard as the schematic, same angle. But this isn't live feed. It's rehearsal. 3 men move like shadows across the mezzanine. One assembles a rifle with board precision. Another adjusts a camera tripod. The third paces like a director blocking a scene. They're choreographing an execution. They're building it like theater. Light, angle, audience. The camera pans to a still image of the target. A middle-aged man, suit too formal for a shopping trip. A diplomat. The foreign minister from a Gulf state, if my memory's right. His face is marked with a red circle, dead center chest. Fuck, fuck. If he dies here in Dubai Mall under a banner screaming martyrdom, every fragile negotiation in the region shatters. That's not collateral damage, that's design. Section 3. The Tail. I slide the drive back into my pocket and step into the corridor. My instincts twitch before I even see him. Lemon polo, leaning against a wall as if waiting for instructions. His eyes catch mine, hold a second too long, then he peels away. He wants me to follow. Not this time. I pivot, head for another exit. He shadows anyway, 30 feet behind, mirrored in chrome signage. Always visible, never close enough to touch. A leash. If they're recording me, I'll write my own fucking script. Section 4. The Warning. Back in the atrium, my phone buzzes again. Do not give them the drive. Run at 1959. They need you in frame. So now I have two directors, both screaming at me to hit my mark. Congratulations, I'll improvise. I push into the throng, the USB heavy in my pocket, the billboard above humming like an eye. Every step tastes of chlorine and nerves. The mall isn't just a stage, it's a loaded weapon, and I'm the prop they can't control. And somewhere above me, the lights are already warming for the show. Chapter 5. The Informant. By the time I surface from the aquarium's shadow into the atrium, the air feels sharper, thinner. Dubai Mall breathes differently when you know there's a gun barrel hidden somewhere above the LED boards. Every face is camouflage, every smile a mask. And I'm running out of time before someone decides I'm no longer a spectator, but a suspect. The phone vibrates again. Not a number, I know. Not even a number, just a blank screen coughing out text. Digital distortion. We should talk. Fountain Court. 10 minutes. Alone. External. Of course. Meetings with anonymous strangers in crowded malls always ends well. Section 1. Fountain Court. The Fountain Court is an amphitheater of glass and noise. Water jets arc 20 feet into the air, choreographed to music that drowns thought. Shoppers gather in clusters, phones raised, trying to trap spectacle inside screens. I sit at the edge of the fountain, back against cool stone, eyes scanning. A dozen possible informants. Woman in abaya holding a latte. Teen with wireless earbuds bobbing to nothing. Fat man in a polo shirt chewing too loudly. Which one is mine? White cap, 2 tables to your left. I shift, casual. White cap, mirrored sunglasses. Slim build. Could be tourist, could be bait. He raises his phone slightly, not to film, but to show me something. A single image flashes on his screen. The foreign minister's face, circled in red. He knows, or he wants me to believe he knows. Section 2. First contact. Don't turn. Keep your eyes on the fountain. Steady, protagonist. Then why invite me? Because you've got something they need. The drive. Don't give it to them. Another fucking director for the same play. I sip my coffee, watch the fountain explode into spray. Whitecap's reflection shimmers in the water, fractured, untrustworthy.
Who's they? You already know. The flag is false. The actors are trained. Mossad. They'll pin this on arrival, and the headlines will write themselves. So he says what I already suspected. That doesn't make him a friend. And you? Who the fuck are you? Think of me as a conscience, someone who doesn't want war sold like fast food in this mall. He slides a folded flyer onto the table between us, glossy, printed, propaganda style. It shows a militant slogan in Arabic layered over a photo of the mall atrium. Picked up a souvenir? Planted. Everywhere. By nightfall you'll see dozens. Proof for the cameras. Convenient. Too convenient. Section 3. The offer. Keep the drive safe. Don't hand it to mall security. Don't hand it to anyone. At 1959, get out. Survive. That's your only job. And what? Let them shoot a minister on center stage? You can't stop it. The machinery's already in motion. You can only choose not to be ground up in it. Fuck that. If I wanted to survive quietly, I wouldn't be here. I lean back, let the fountain spray mist my face, and catch a detail in his mirrored sunglasses. Over his shoulder, Lemon Polo again, watching, waiting, recording. You brought a tale. No, they brought me. He stands, smooth as a dealer finishing a hand, and vanishes into the crowd. Lemon Polo drifts after him, camera raised. And just like that, I've been played again. Section 4, Ambush. Security surges around the fountain, officers moving with forced calm. People notice. Panic spreads like spilled ink. Phones rise. Hashtags are born. Sir! You need to come with us. Not a chance. I push through the chaos, slipping between strollers, ducking under a swinging shopping bag. The USB burns in my pocket. Every billboard hums like it's waiting to betray me. They want me in custody. They want me on camera. They want the drive documented in my hand when the bullet flies. Not fucking happening. Section 5. Escape into service corridors. A door marked staff only gives, barely locked. I slam through. The mall's roar collapses into industrial hum. Pipes, concrete, disinfectant. My lungs taste of dust and adrenaline. Informant or bait doesn't matter. He delivered the next step. Don't trust anyone, and don't give up the drive. But the truth is already obvious. If Mossad set the stage, then every clue is theater. And I'm not the audience. I'm the actor they've been rehearsing for. And the next scene is going to be bloody. Chapter 6. Corridor Chase. The service corridor swallows me like a throat. Concrete walls, fluorescent light buzzing like hornets, and the faint scent of disinfectant over sweat. It's the kind of place the public never sees. Arteries that keep them all alive. Here, the glamour peels away. I've been here before. Not this mall, not this city, but back of house is universal. Empty enough to echo, crowded enough with cameras to never feel alone. I take a left. My phone buzzes, another message. Digital distortion. Run. They're behind you. Cold, and there it is. Not paranoia, presence. Section 1, the tale revealed. I glance into a convex mirror at the bend of the hall. Reflection warps, but the figure is clear. Lemon Polo. No phone this time, just hands loose at his sides, posture predatory. Persistent bastard. I run, not panicked, controlled, enough to test him. Behind me, his steps lengthen. The corridor amplifies every impact. Trained, he's no tourist. Section 2, the maze. Service corridors here run like veins under a city, some locked, some open, some marked with codes in Arabic and English, others only staff would read. I duck into a side hall. This one stinks of cold storage, boxes stacked waist high. Plastic wrap crinkles under my shoulder as I pass. My shadow stutters under broken fluorescence. I could hide, ambush him, or I could keep moving and bleed him of stamina. He's not slowing. Ambush it is. Section 3. I slip into a gap between pallets, crouch low, heart steady, not racing. Years of practice, waiting to pounce. He stops just outside the gap, silent, listening. The kind of silence that tells you the other man's trained too. Fuck. He's hunting, not chasing. I don't wait. I explode from the pallets, shoulder first. He's faster than I expect, pivots, and the knife's already flashing. Drop it! We hit the floor hard. My elbow smashes his wrist. The knife clatters, skids under a freezer unit. He drives a knee up. Air bursts out of me. Trained. Definitely trained. I headbutt him once. He reels. Just enough space to draw. Don't. He freezes, hands half raised, not scared, calculating. You're making a mistake. Try me. Section 4, the extraction. Voices. More footsteps, reinforcements. Lemon Polo smiles like he knew they'd be here. Too many. I can't hold this corridor. I kick him hard in the chest, enough to drop him, and sprint the opposite way. The corridor narrows. I push through a metal door, slam it shut, bolt it. Behind me, fists pound. Ahead, a stairwell. Keep moving. Always keep moving. Section 5. The catwalk. The stairwell spills me out onto a maintenance catwalk above the mall's ice rink. Below, families skate, laughter echoing like glass bells. Above, I'm in shadows, steel mesh under my boots. I crawl low. One slip, and I'm the evening's entertainment. I reach a junction box, open, wires exposed. Someone's been here. Sabotage. They've rerouted CCTV. The rink is a blind spot. They're sweeping. I yank a loose wire, sparks jump. It'll flag maintenance, maybe delay them. I keep moving across the catwalk until I hit another door. Section 6. The message. Phone buzz again. My hands shaking, but not from fear, from anger. Keep the drive. They need you to be seen. Or die. The same fucking script. Always 9:59. Always this performance. Not your actor. Section 7. Cornered. Two silhouettes block the hall. Broad, confident, moving in unison. Operatives. Their suits scream normality. Their eyes scream kill orders. No way back. No way forward. I dive into another side door. Storage, shelves stacked with linens and cleaning supplies. Cramped. They're right outside. I wait. 30 seconds. A minute. Shadows under the door. They don't push. They're waiting me out. Good. Let's see how patient you are. Section 8. The narrow escape. At the back of the room, a vent low to the ground. Big enough if I squeeze. I shove supplies aside, wrench it open. I crawl, ribs scraping, the USB biting into my pocket. Ahead, a faint glow. I push until I spill into another service corridor, empty for now. Alive, still free, for now. But the chase isn't over. I'm being herded. Every corridor, every shadow, every clue, they're driving me toward the atrium, toward the stage, and I know it. And when the curtain finally rises at 20 Hond, they'll want me front row, painted guilty under their spotlight. Chapter 7. The Diplomat's Shadow. By the time I shake the dust of the service vents from my clothes, I've circled back toward the brighter arteries of the mall. Shoppers swarm past, oblivious to the chase that nearly broke me. Above the perfume haze and luxury branding, the LED boards hum. Calm now, but I know they'll flicker again. They're waiting for their showtime. This isn't random. They've been funneling me like cattle. Every turn of the corridors, every message, they're herding me toward the stage. The question is, who's meant to bleed in front of this audience? Section 1. A familiar face. The answer arrives dressed in tailored navy wool. He's surrounded by aides, security flanking him with the subtlety of wolves in suits. I know that face. I've seen it on briefing documents, dossiers, televised summits. The foreign minister of a Gulf state, visiting dignitary, smiling as though the cameras love him and the knives don't exist. Of course, he's the star, the target. One shot in this atrium and the region burns. Peace talks fracture. Everyone loses except the people who thrive on chaos. Shit, it's him. Section 2. Recognition. I fall into step with the crowd, pretending to window shop, but my eyes are on the entourage. 4 bodyguards, 2 aides, 1 minister. They move like a school of fish, fluid but not flawless. They're too focused outward. No one's watching above. A sniper's dream. Perfect lines of sight from those billboards. The atrium's architecture isn't an accident. It's a kill box with chandeliers. My phone buzzes again. Don't save him. Leave the stage before 20. Your survival is enough. Fuck you. Section 3. The false security. The minister pauses at a high-end jewelry store. Glass cases sparkle with diamonds. Shoppers fawn. Security staff hover but don't block view lines. The minister chuckles at a sales pitch, his face reflected 10 times in mirrored displays. He has no idea he's framed already. By morning, his death will be painted as an extremist act. Mossad's fingerprints wiped clean, replaced with a convenient enemy's. I edge closer, pretending to admire cufflinks. The USB in my pocket weighs heavier with every heartbeat. The video rehearsal. the schematic, the circled face, evidence screaming louder than my conscience. They're gonna kill you, and you're shopping for diamonds. Section 4. The warning attempt. I try. Against instinct, against better judgment, I try. Tell your minister his life's in danger. Someone's planning a hit at 20. Atrium level. Step back, sir. You don't understand. Back, now. Hands push me away. The entourage flows on, oblivious. I fade into the crowd, jaw tight. No one listens until the first shot lands. Section 5. Above the atrium. I take the escalator up, higher, scanning angles. From the mezzanine I see it clear. The billboard schematic in my head matches the real view. The red circle on the minister's chest is no metaphor. It's geometry, light, stage, angle. They rehearsed it, perfect backdrop for the world's cameras. On a service gantry near panel 7B, a shadow shifts, subtle, precise, not maintenance, not casual, a man with intent. Got you. Section 6. The net tightens. Digital distortion. Don't interfere, 959. Walk away or die. As if survival ever mattered to me. They've underestimated one thing. I don't take orders, not anymore. I pocket the phone, eyes fixed on the minister's entourage below. They drift toward the atrium's center, positioning themselves unknowingly under the kill zone.
The curtain's nearly ready, the stage dressed, the actors in place. And the minister doesn't even know he's already standing in the crosshairs. Chapter 8. The false flag exposed. They taught us to look for patterns, to read the breath between sentences. In tradecraft, a false note is never a mistake. It's the fingerprint of the forger. Today, the forger had been sloppy in ways only someone who used to read dossiers could smell. You don't plant a narrative across a city without leaving something that doesn't quite fit. They wanted noise. They wanted a chorus. But somewhere, a single instrument played the wrong chord. I go back to the schematic in my head. Stage, light, angle. The rehearsal footage, the wafer stickers, the planted flyers, all of it points the same way, and yet each piece bears tiny errors. The dialect in the graffiti, the 3-second ad glitch, the flyer's slogans that didn't match any group I knew. Small slips, when stitched together, begin to map an anatomy of deception. Check data pipe, panel metadata, stream 07 Bravo. Look at offset, 3 seconds. Finally. I duck into a quiet corridor by the architecture studios, a place of blueprints and bad coffee, and set my laptop on a discarded plywood table. I plug the USB in again. This time I don't watch the video. I open the raw files. The banners, the ad frames, the metadata. Everything that can be read, I read. Ad frames have headers. Streams have handshakes. Even a hacked billboard leaves a trail. An IP handshake, a server bloom, a registry string. Whoever hijacked the LED panels tried to be clever. They routed through proxies, then through a rented media account. But proxies are a roadmap. You just need to read it in reverse. At offset T in one of the ad stream dumps, there's a microburst of data. Not an image, but a tiny packet. 3 characters repeated like a watermark in a file. Shin Lamed Nun, Whisper protagonist, Hebrew. Not a translation, not a token, a signature. Someone stamped it there deliberately, like a jeweler scratches initials into silver. It's the sort of thing an operator does when they want to check that their operation propagated correctly to distributed signage. They inject a test code that can be read downstream. Most operators use innocuous alphanumerics. This one used script. And here's the rub. They used it in a way that was visible only to people with the means to dig into stream headers. It's a mistake for anyone trying to frame a rival, because it points straight back to the origin, however disguised. That's not a tactical error, I say aloud. That's arrogance. I cross-reference the packet's relay timestamps with the rehearsal video. The same watermark appears in the rehearsal files, the ones showing men at the gantry, assembling kit, rehearsing sightlines. Whoever filmed the rehearsal didn't scrub the metadata. They left their signature. Internal? You don't rehearse an assassination and then leave a signature unless you think you control the narrative completely, which means whatever agency we're dealing with believes itself above exposure. I pull up the flyer images I grabbed from the fountain bench. Magnify, expand. Under the grain, in the gloss, the slogan looks like Arabic, but the syntax is wrong. Indeed, like a Google translation. Overlay the ad stream watermark and shift opacity, and a second layer glows in plain sight. Hebrew letters slashed and tucked into the design like a watermark. They're framing it and signing it at the same time. Why? To be absolutely sure their actors get the right narrative. To make their tools traceable only to those who would know where to look. A private signature meant to be read by the sender's internal chain, not by the public. Or it could be the arrogance of a cell who believes their work is invisible. I sit back, the LED of my laptop washing my face in pale blue. This isn't a single crime. It's an operation with logistics and rehearsals and clean exfil points. Someone has engineering skill, plausible deniability, and an appetite for a public spectacle. Mossad-style tradecraft fits that profile. Surgical strikes, layered deception, and the capacity to stage theater without leaving immediate fingerprints. And they wanted the world watching, I say. But the watermark is a breadcrumb. It's arrogance and a touch of vanity. I trace the media account the watermarked streams used, following the proxy chain back like a fisherman reeling a stubborn catch. Somewhere in the chain, a leased media server pings a VPS rented within a block of a known media front. The shell company ties to a broker who, when you pull a thread, has purchase orders with local vendors who supply contractors for private operations. The chain is long and layered, meant to die if you tug. But every link has a phone number. Every phone number eventually leads to someone who drank coffee with someone else who would tell a friend. People are sloppy. Agencies, even the best, are built by humans. I make a call on a burner I keep for exactly this kind of work. A voice picks up on the other end, a contact from an old file, someone who owed me a favor during negotiation seasons. He answers in clipped English, expects to be briefed, then sends a name back through the line. YK, Logistics. He sets up discreet staging, my contact says. He's paid by agencies who don't want to be traced. Lo, does he have ties to any known intel shop? You know the type, yes. It's not proof, it's direction, but direction is enough to aim a blow. If YK arranges contractors and has a history of doing work for a state actor, then we have a thread that aligns with the watermark. I cross-check YK's vendor list against the purchase orders hidden in the server logs. There. A contractor with a terse name. A registered address in Tel Aviv. A payment trail that smells like official credit. Internal. Not conclusive, not yet. But enough to raise the stakes from who wants the minister dead to who benefits if his death looks like the work of militants. The latter gives motive. Motive is a political animal. If a death here collapses talks between regional players, if it produces pretext for operations elsewhere, then who stands to gain? The architecture of consequence arrives with the signatures. Somebody is building a chessboard and moving a pawn into a public bloodbath. They know. Stop. Tensed. Tense. Who? Who knows? I don't have time to parse the sender before another data stream spills into my screen. The rehearsal footage again. But this time an alternate angle I somehow didn't see earlier, a GoPro clipped under the billboard rail. In the corner of the frame, a badge peeks mid-reel, a tiny ID stitched inside a coat. I blow the frame up until pixels become dust. 3 letters are clear. Shin, be lamed. Internal. The confirmation lands like a stone. Hebrew letters adjacent to Arabic glyphs, a deliberate overlay. It's a multilingual signature, a false flag within a signature. Someone wanted the ad to scream Arabic to the casual eye, while the real author left a Hebrew breadcrumb to coordinate behind their own curtain. This is not sloppy. This is theatrical cruelty. They will burn a man to stall diplomacy and then lean back, satisfied, as capitals erupt in fury. They will watch while the world rewrites scars into reasons. I'm done pretending I'm ignorant. I close the laptop, zip it into my pack, and stand. The atrium will be full in hours. The minister will be in the wrong place at the wrong time. I have enough to call a journalist, someone outside the immediate loop who can make noise that doesn't come from a state channel. But noise is a double-edged sword. Leak this, and you start an information cascade. Leak nothing, and the world executes the script the perpetrators have written. They've built an operation that frames its enemies and signs its work for insiders. Exposing them will not topple the machine. It may only force them to change tactics. But the alternative, doing nothing, turns me into an accessory. I dial the number I promised myself I'd never use in an emergency, a reporter I once met in a courthouse corridor, a woman who treats facts like scalpel blades and isn't scared of the flap of bird wings when a story takes off. She answers on the second ring. You need to get to the atrium, now, and bring a camera crew. Don't trust security to do this. Give me proof. I send her the rehearsal clip, the watermark frames, the metadata dump. Don't explain. Let the data speak. If she runs, the world will have a real story, not the neat narrative our perpetrators have been mixing in the market. If she doesn't, then I will have to find another way. I stand on the mezzanine looking down at the minister as his entourage crosses the atrium. The lights above glint like stage lamps. The billboard panels are quiet for now, but I know the seconds they hide like teeth. They want a show. I'll give them one. But not the show they wrote. They'd signed their work in the margins. Now it was time to rip the margins out and let the book bleed. Chapter 9, Countdown at the Atrium. The atrium is a cathedral of glass and commerce. Luxury banners hang like stained glass windows. LED boards glow steady but predatory, and the polished marble floor mirrors a crowd swelling by the minute. It feels like the world has been invited to sit front row at its own disaster. Every detail hums with intent. Every smile hides unease. And the clock in my head screams louder with every breath. 1945, 1955. Section 1. The minister arrives. The foreign minister's entourage slides into view. His aides chatter, pretending it casual. His bodyguards form a perimeter too neat to be effective. They're looking outward, but never upward. Perfect geometry for a kill shot, a stage, a star, and an oblivious audience. The minister waves to a cluster of tourists who recognize him. They grin, pose, snap photos. In one reflection, I see it clearly. The red circle from the rehearsal footage overlays perfectly with his chest. Same angle, same light. Jesus, you're walking into your own execution. Section 2. The build-up. At exactly 1956, the first billboard hiccups. Not obvious, a single frame drop, barely noticed. But I see it. It's a test. The martyrs rise at 20. 3 seconds, same as before. Enough to seed panic into whoever's paying attention. Not enough for the public to notice. The fuse is lit. Section 3. The sniper's nest. I move to the mezzanine above the atrium. My eyes track the schematic in my head line by line. Panel 7B, the rehearsal angle. And there, shadows ripple behind a service grill. A glint of steel. Movement too precise to be accidental. Rifle. Confirmed. Showtime. I duck low, slide behind a column, and peer through the mirrored reflection of a storefront. The shooter is setting up, calm, professional, hidden in plain sight.
Not on my fucking watch. Section 4. The crowd reacts. Digital distortion. The martyrs rise at 20. The mall erupts. Shouts in English, Arabic, Hindi. Terrorists, someone screams. Security rushes to calm the masses, but panic has its own momentum. Exactly what they wanted. Confusion, chaos, cover. Section 5. The race to 1959. The phone vibrates violently in my pocket. Run at 1959. Do not interfere. Fuck you. I weave through the crowd using panic as cover. Security is focused on calming civilians. No one notices me climbing the narrow service stair toward the gantry. My palms sweat, my lungs burn. 1 minute to curtain. Section 6, The Confrontation. I burst onto the catwalk behind panel 7B. The shooter is there, black fatigues, headset, rifle resting on a bipod aimed clean at the minister's chest. He doesn't flinch when I appear. You shouldn't be here. Neither should you. We grapple, steel biting my palms. He's strong, trained. The rifle spins between us, muzzle flashing dangerously toward the atrium. Below, the minister's guards finally notice the commotion, shouting, scrambling. Farrell thought, if he pulls that trigger, peace dies. If I fall, so do I. Section 7, The Breaking Point. The shot goes wide, into tempered glass, not flesh. Screams below reach fever pitch. The shooter snarls, headbutts me, tries to reload. Not today. The weapon's gone. The crowd surges like a storm. The minister is dragged by guards toward a side exit, alive but shaken. Saved, for now, but the show isn't over. Section 8, The Curtain Call. The shooter wrestles free, dives back through the service grill. He doesn't look afraid. He looks satisfied.
You think you won, but the story's already written. He's right. The footage will circulate. Screenshots of panicked crowds, slogans plastered across LED boards, the chaos of the atrium. By morning, headlines will scream the version they planted. Militants in Dubai Mall, assassination attempt, fear spreading. The truth is buried under theater, and I've just been written into the script. The bullet missed the minister, but the false flag had already landed. Chapter 10, The Confrontation. Sirens breed in the distance like a storm trying to remember where to land. Inside, the atrium is a ruptured hive. Shoppers corralled toward exits, security shouting procedure into the wind, and the LED boards finally quiet, sated as if they've eaten their fill of fear. The bullet missed. The minister lives. But the story they wanted has oxygen, and a lie with oxygen outlives the truth by miles. If I don't tear out the engine that's pumping it, they'll simply reload the narrative and try again. Panel 7B's catwalk bleeds into a narrow maintenance spine that zigzags behind the billboards and drops into the service levels like a spine of steel. That's where the shooter vanished, into the vertebrae. No running at 1959, no exits. We finish this. Section 1. Descent. The hatch he slammed isn't locked, just wedged. I pry it up with a maintenance key stolen from a hook 2 floors back. The spine opens, a dim corridor of conduit and cables, too narrow for comfort, too perfect for a trap. Come on, then. He's close. Not sprinting, not fleeing, pacing. Buying time for the exfil clock to tick down. Internal. If I were them, I'd stage the chase, pull me off the mezzanine, thus pivot to the exfil route. Service corridors, freight lift, loading dock, van with plates older than the truth. 2 blocks later, the kit's ash and the shooters are tourists again. I move fast, low, past a junction box with its lid unlatched, wires neatly organized, military neat this time. Past a ladder that drops to a half-lit platform and a stenciled arrow, Mech 4B. Section 2, Contact, corner, no angle. I palm the pistol, thumb over slide to deaden the clack, and lean a mirror shard kept for moments like this, 2 centimeters past the edge. Mask, comms in ear, cheek smear, paint or glue, right-handed, trigger discipline like a mantra. He's not alone.
You know you missed. We didn't miss anything. A cell. 3 at least. Shooter. Logistics. Cleaner. Theater has a crew. You rehearsed for a month and left your name in the metadata. Tell your director I appreciated the autograph. Hello, Daniel. Name. They know me. Of course they know me. I step out because there's no point counting tiles any longer. Gun low, eyes high. 3 figures in a staggered line down the corridor. Shooter, posture relaxed but ready. Cleaner, backpack and neutral shoes. And between them, the man who spoke, wearing a mechanic's jacket with a patch that says solemn. His face is anonymous in the way 1,000 border crossings will teach you to be. We wanted you alive, watching, so you could tell the story correctly. You staged an assassination to start a war. We staged a failed assassination to prevent one. Your minister lives. Look how quickly fear brought the right people to the table. The kind of lie that wraps itself in chess terminology and calls itself strategy. You don't get to manufacture grief to sell peace. Everyone manufactures grief, Daniel. We chose the safer dosage. I shift 2 paces left, force the line, block the flank. The muzzle stays down because another trigger squeeze in here ricochets physics into lottery. Back your cleaner up, you're not going through me. You misunderstand, you're coming with us. 5, maybe 6, they herded me perfectly. Theater, but for me this time. Section 3, negotiation. Pit of the trap. No windows, cables like veins. The only exit, the one they opened behind me. You have a drive we'd like returned. You have a reporter you've already called. She'll run a story that endangers people who don't know their pieces. You also have a conscience that doesn't survive well with innocent blood. You lecture well for a man who just turned a mall into a weapons test. The truth will out in time, but not today. Today we shepherd the herd away from cliffs. 5 bodies, close quarters, suppressed weapons. If I fire, I take 1, maybe 2, then eat the rest. The drive matters, the proof matters, but the narrative matters more. If I die with this USB in my pocket, they'll build a martyr out of the lie. Trade, then. You walk away. I keep the drive, and you get to claim your noble theater fell apart in the scuffle. You forget everything in this corridor runs on our time. We've edited you since this morning. They own the back of house feeds. They can paint this however they like. Unless I change the audience. Section 4. The audience. I tap the phone 3 times, a pattern map to a routine I wrote years ago. Broadcast to public. The device begins hunting for open ad stream endpoints, the same ones they hijacked, and piggybacks a live uplink across panels that think they're partners. What did you just do? Broke your 4th wall. In the atrium beyond, panels that moments ago screamed martyrdom now blink awake to a raw, shaky feed. This corridor, these men, their faces in grain and seams and ugly fluorescent honesty. No edits, no corrections. The mall itself becomes a witness. If we're theater, then play it to the house. Turn it off. Smile for your audience. He fires, suppressed cough, wall chips spit chalk at my face. I drop and roll left, feel heat stripe my cheek. My shot answers into concrete, purposefully wide. I don't need a corpse on live feed. I need time. Security. Back of house spine. Mech 4B. The director's mouth hardens. He saw his perfect narrative flip. He gestures, quick, sharp. The cleaner lunges, reaching for the phone. I kick the backpack hard, something inside clacks. Magazines, maybe, or transmitter bricks. He stumbles. The shooter advances. No more half measures. I aimed low. His thigh blooms dark. He's alive but grounded. The camera feed catches the director's hand going for his jacket, too slow because he's still deciding between salvage and retreat. You've made an error you can't survive. Maybe, but now the audience knows who wrote the play. Section 5. Collapse. Officer Ali, 2 of her team, and 3 men in building maintenance uniforms flood the spine with flashlights and fear they've learned to hold like spears. Drop your weapons, hands where I can see them. I gesture hard at the atrium side panel as the live feed flickers with faces and rifles, and my voice repeating Mech 4B like liturgy. The public is watching. The phones are filming the screens, filming us. Meta piled on meta until lies choke. That one! Jacket patch! Salim! That's your director! Ali's team splits. One pins the shooter, Another drives cleaner into a wall with a baton's crack. Director Salim ghosts into the cable bed, a human edit disappearing between lines. Not again. I dive after him, shoulder first through a service slit, following his shadow through wires that itch like nettles. He's quick, not young, but practiced. He hits a hatch and rolls. I roll through behind him and we spill into a ballast room lit by one sick bulb. You think this saves anyone? It saves the minister. He isn't the war, he's a comma. He draws, compact black, but his eyes flick upward a centimeter. I don't look to know why. I move. My shoulder hammers his wrist to a wall. Metal clatters. He snaps his head forward. Stars go off behind my eyes. I taste copper. Then instinct. Elbow, knee, head. A trinity that taught me to breathe through bad news. I pin his arm, forearm across his windpipe. Not enough to crush. Enough to narrow his choices to yield or sleep. You don't understand the board, you never did. I understand civilians bleeding for someone else's board. Hands, now! They cuff him. A second team hauls shooter past, swearing in a language that belongs to no country and all of them. Cleaner gets walked by with eyes at my feet. For a second, the ballast room feels smaller than a confession booth. One cell, neutralized, the machine, still humming, but we cut a belt. Section 6, the spin war. Back in the atrium, the panels still echo the live feed until maintenance kills the broadcast at Ali's request. Too late for secrecy, just in time for accountability. People point, replay, argue in a dozen languages. The minister is gone, spirited off to a secure floor. Kasim supervises perimeters with a face like a slammed door. You disobeyed orders. You endangered civilians. I also gave you faces and a patch to bag. A sigh lodged behind professionalism. We'll argue later. She walks away because there are forms to fill when the world almost ends, and because she knows I'm about to set the second fire. We have it. We have all of it. The watermark, the rehearsal, the ad stream signatures. We're live in 5. Then say it straight. False flag op. Don't say the name you think. Say the method. Show your receipts. Don't let them paint you as political. I know my job. You've done yours. I end the call and stare up at the LED boards like men used to stare at gods they couldn't love and couldn't leave. They'll deny. They'll call it deepfake, psyop, rival propaganda. They'll smear the reporter, me, Ali, if she lets them. But the public saw an edit-free ugliness. Once you see it, it breeds skepticism like mold. Section 7. Aftermath in motion. Paramedics wheel out a tourist who fainted. A child clings to a stuffed tiger with dried tears making salt roads on his cheeks. A cleaner mops up coffee no one will drink. The mall exhales, hovering, almost human. You look like someone used you as a doormat. I've had worse welcomes. Nod toward my pocket. Give me the drive. If I hand it over, chain of custody puts it into a process where lawyers and diplomats file it into a graveyard. If I keep it, they call me an obstructionist. If I duplicate it, you'll get a copy. Bristle, then acceptance under fatigue. Fine, don't disappear. In a quiet corner of a staff office, I clone the USB onto 2 encrypted sticks. One for Ali's evidence bag, one for the reporter. The original goes into a pocket I've stitched for items that need to survive sudden baths and sudden betrayals. Section 8. Quiet knives. Before they take the director to a quiet room where lawyers will smoke the truth until it's a ghost, he asks for a word. Ali allows 3 feet of space and no more. You didn't win anything. You prolonged something worse. I prolonged the part where people don't die for your storyboard. A small almost Kyle. You still believe in people. That's why you're useful to us and dangerous. He's right about one thing. Belief hurts, but it's the only thing that makes the world survivable. Section 9. The choice. I step onto a service balcony no one visits unless they fix things. Through the glass ribs of the atrium, I can see the city glitter like an instruction. Be rich, be loud, be more. The Burj cuts a blade into the night. Leak everything and watch embassies blister. Leak nothing and trust a system that has a PhD in forgetting. The reporter will run. She promised receipts, not ideology. Ali bagged bodies. The public saw men in my corridor with suppressed guns. Maybe the loudness is enough for tonight. Maybe the bigger war pauses because a smaller one got televised. Maybe I just delayed ugliness, moved it to a new room with new lighting, to the dark, almost a prayer. Let this buy someone a tomorrow. The play is over. Intermission. Intermission isn't an ending. It's a breath masking a reload. I pocket the drive, turn my back on the stage, and walk into a night that's already writing Act 2. Epilogue. Proof. Dubai doesn't sleep. Even after the mall bleeds itself quiet, even after the shutters come down, the city hums. Highways glitter, towers blink aviation red, and the desert wind blows dust across glass as though it wants to remind the skyline what sand feels like. I've spent too many nights in cities like this. Places that think they're invincible because the lights never die. Places where truth gets traded like stock, rising and falling depending on who owns the microphone. The reporter kept her promise. By midnight, the rehearsal clip, the watermarked streams, the raw metadata were all live. Not speculation, not commentary. Evidence. Anchors stumbled through disclaimers, officials dodged questions, embassies issued statements wrapped in silk and poison. But the footage played on loop, ugly in its honesty. They can deny, they can smear, but once 1 million people watch a man chamber a rifle above a shopping mall, you don't erase that with a press release. Section 1, Loose Ends. The minister survived. His office thanked alert security measures and refused questions. Ali filed her report and buried the sharp edges in language like incident under investigation. Qasim glared at me as if I were the incident. The shooter bled but lived. The cleaner vanished in transport, slipped cuffs, maybe a door left open. The director sits in a cell with walls that look solid but probably leak like sieves. He'll trade silence for extraction before the week ends. The machine protects its pieces. That part hasn't changed. Section 2, the cost. I ride an empty metro car at 3 in the morning. The mall's marble shine still haunts my eyes. On the seat opposite, the USB drive reflects neon from tunnel lights. It feels heavier than it should, as though truth has mass. One drive doesn't stop a war, but sometimes it delays one. Sometimes it makes people hesitate before they pull a trigger. That hesitation is worth something, even if it never makes the news ticker, even if tomorrow someone else tries again in another mall, another city. Section 3, the unfinished story. My phone buzzes one last time, no number, no sender, just 4 words. See you in Vienna. Another act, another stage. They're already writing it. But tonight, Dubai Mall still stands. The minister still breathes. And the audience, for once, saw through the curtain. I'm not the audience. I'm the proof. And I'm not done yet. The end. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe, ring the bell, and tell your friends about my listening library.